is it fine now?
Yeah, now it's fine. So first of all, video is frozen, I think. Yeah, now it's fine, Nidhi. Yes, so congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So that's very good. And the purpose is only to, let them know, like, each year we do, right? Ask the students that what to study in which topic, etc., etc. It helps a lot, right? Coming from a student, right? Candidate, it helps a lot. Okay. So that is the only purpose. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, right? You have to simply answer as nicely as possible, so that keeping in mind the new students. Okay, candidates. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So let us start with paper one. How did you study paper one? Constitution specifically.
So mainly I followed few of like your notes were my base for the paper one constitution part, as well as for other parts of law also. Apart from that, I do read Dukki because so that I can have I can be on the similar footing as people with law background. Since I am from
non-law background. Yeah, I remember.
Yes, sir. I am a non-law background. I come from chemistry background.
Yeah, in fact, I remember the very first time you came to me, you told me, sir, should I take law or not? I remember.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And sir, apart from that, for few selected topics, I referred the book J.N. Pandey.
J.N. Pandey. Selected topics, which topics specifically?
Like especially related to the part 3 of the Constitution and something, because it has like very good detailings of that. And the doctrines part also, some of the doctrines under it. So for that purpose,
that you deferred them. Okay. And
yes.
What did you did? I mean, have you prepared notes and or you simply copy and pasted there? I mean, how did you approach with regard to that?
Sir, actually, I follow a mixed approach. Like sometimes for some topic, I directly refers to your notes which are there. Like I highlight there, and I make short notes on the adjacent page so that I can directly read from there. However, just before the examination, I prepared short notes for myself, which included all the important articles and case laws and some important judgments, like if the judges said something very good related to that. So
yeah, that particular line itself, you simply wrote. Yeah. So that I also,
yes,
in fact, if you remember, before means I gave you the lines itself, right?
Yes, sir. You used
copy that line. Yeah, lining is very important. And what about this admin law? Any books you referred or something like that?
Sir, mostly I followed online sources for administrative law. Like I used to see it on the live law, some articles from live law, and there is this ipleaders.com, which is very good compilation of all the related topics. And it is like I find it like very relevant, directly to the point. So I did my topics from there.
And what about the judgments, in this this constitutional philosophical part, right? Question which is philosophical in nature. Do you cited judgment or only that judgment line from the judgments, various judges line? How did you approach it? Because the reason I am asking, because people are mostly confused. There is a philosophical question of Article 21 and you have a lot of information. So how did you sum it up, right? That is the point.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think in that aspect, my preparation for current affairs for my GS2 part polity came in very handy. Like I used to, because most of the time the questions which are asked in our optional also are the contemporary issues which are there in news and which are more relevant. So I did my current affair classes with Dipin Damodran sir. So he used to give us like the very judgment and the case laws related to those particular things. So I think that in some way, that in actually great way helped me citing the relevant and the contemporary judgments. And apart from that, the like fundamental cases, I always used to carry a list, and I had to, I just stick it on the wall of my room so that I am every day I'm seeing those judgments.
And yes. How many cases you cited per question? Because mostly people say, there are some of the people. In fact, one of the students before mains, and unfortunately she did not qualify this year. She was asking me, in some Telegram group or something, one person is preaching that even you have to write the this citation also along with the case. So did you also follow something like that or something?
No, sir, I didn't follow something like that. Like my main patron of writing is like for a 10 marker, I usually cite apart from article, at maximum I cite 2 judgments, and for a 15 marker question, I just cite 3 judgments. And I think one thing which I do here, I am not sure whether it is the right way or not for doing it. I do not cite the exact case law and the facts of the cases. I try to keep it as minimum as I can, so that I can save space for the conceptual requirement of the question. So
that is better. And what about, let us talk about paper, part B of paper one, international law, most of the static part. How did you cover that? With
So
books you have covered, notes you have
firstly your notes, and apart from that, I prepared my own notes using the Dukki, like international law for Dukki, all those topics which are mentioned there. And apart from that, few topics I googled, like the latest nuclear weapons and the international humanitarian law stuff. So I googled those things.
That itself was sufficient. Okay,
Yes,
that's good. And what about paper two, crime? What books and etc. did you follow?
So for torts and contract, I've read Bangia. For IPC, I've only done your notes and Barrick, nothing else apart from that. For CLD paper, I used to Google about the topics there. Read it from like 1 to law related background articles and 1 to articles which were like generic in nature. So that was my main source for CLD.
And what about that CLD part, the notes that I sent you, was it any helpful or not?
Yes, sir. It actually, my base notes are those only, because I remember attending your CLD classes.
So you did some add-on on that?
Yes, sir. Definitely,
Please
I did.
Send me that add-on. I will also
sure.
new badges. Okay, I will ask this to every candidates. Okay, so that it will help other candidates. Yeah.
Yes,
and
sir,
two more things, right, that I wanted to ask. Right? First thing is that with regard to this time frame, right? That how much time actually do you require to cover whole syllabus, being from a non-law background. Last year also that guy was IUS was non-law background itself, right? So how did you, because for a law background I can understand okay, they have studied the whole law and procedural part is not there, but you from a non-law background, how do you suggest one should cover? I mean, where do they start and how to go about it?
Yes, sir. So like when I started in 2018, my biggest support and inspiration for this was my brother, who was doing his law at that time. So he used to help me in every aspect, like arranging notes for me if I wanted something or if I'm not able to understand some topic. So I think this is very important that you have somebody, if you are a non-law background person and you are opting for law, that you have somebody who can make you understand even at the late hours in night and whenever it is comfortable. Definitely the support of a mentor is one which is must, so that you can evaluate yourself. So apart from that, coming to the other part of your question, I believe for a non-law person, like 4 to 5 month time is sufficient to cover the syllabus in its entirety. So I think 4 to 5 months was something which I needed initially.
So that was more than sufficient.
Yes, sir.
That's very good. And what about the people who are from Hindi background? A lot of people tell me, right, ki law is only for English people, those who are good at English, etc. So do you think that is correct? I mean, in your opinion, I mean, you are also from the Hindi belt, right? So do you think it created some problem or something like that?
Sir, it is not as such, but I don't really think that I am even eligible to answer this behalf for Hindi people, because I am comparatively weak in that.
So, you're comparatively whole of the English.
So I have always studied in English medium, so for me Hindi is something which is impossible.
No, the reason I'm asking, a guy came right last I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, right? So he's till 12th he have done Hindi, right? And then in graduation he went for English, right? And then he was saying that I have a Hindi background, will it create some problems? So I also told the same thing, that see, my background is not so I cannot actually answer it. I will ask someone if so you also don't have. Okay, so I thought that okay.
Sir, but I believe the books and barracks, they are available in Hindi also. The barracks are there in Hindi, definitely there in Hindi.
Okay. And what about people generally say that instead of studying the books in end to end, right, you should go for a very selected portion of sub books. Do you think that that thought process is correct? Instead of reading the whole book, you find out what is there in the book, and some chapters you mark it down and you study those only. Do you think that is something correct approach, or you should read the whole book?
Sir, I have personally followed the same approach, and I think it is fine also, because if we start reading law books in their entirety, it's huge. We will not be able to finish our syllabus, and ultimately we are here to crack this exam.
Like, for example, you told me, right, Bangia you studied. Now, Bangia itself is a very
the Bangia also I studied selectively. I used to study like very selective chapters from that, and most of the time I used to revise the summary from Bangya because it is like very crux and it is good. So I used to study the summary.
And what about that interference between law optional and GS paper 2? I mean, did you not write answers in GS paper 2, which seems more like written by your law graduate? How do you differentiate, if at all you differentiate it?
Sir, I think in that way, my non-law background was good for me. That I wasn't pushing for too many articles and too many case laws in my answer. Even this thing, one thing I believe that I might have written a bit of generic answer, especially in paper 1, the constitution part, which I need to be, I think, more law specific and little bit more technical.
In fact, this feedback I'm getting from a lot of people that writing generic answers in the philosophical question in paper 1 is actually helpful. So next
Yes,
attempt
sir.
also you use that. Do not be too much over legalistic, because uh, uh, there was one girl, so she got very less rank. I mean, last to last year, 2018. I'm talking about. I'm forgetting her name. She was a judge also, right? So what she told me, right, that in the first attempt I wrote a lot of legalistic answer in GS paper 2, and I got only 78 or 79 marks. But second attempt I wrote a very generic answer, and she got 110, one something like that. Okay, so this I think is true for you also, right?
Yes, sir.
I think a generic answer, right? So that
So I write generic answers only, and thankfully my non-law comes very handy in here, especially managing the paper 1 part, like both the section A and section B. So it is really good.
That's very good. Now, the last question, then I will leave you because you have paper 2 appear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is what do you think about this law optional background, right? Do it helps you, I mean, law optional in general, do it helps you to other subjects apart from GS paper 2, I mean, that essay or your writing skills or something like that? Do you think it in some way it have helped or no?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like a lot of parts, and especially even in the essay paper and in the GS paper, some parts of ethics paper also. It comes in very handy, and we can there's a mix and match of syllabus here. Even the CLD part, like we read most of the things in GS preparation. So there is a lot of overlapping, which in my personal opinion is definitely a help only, not an hindrance there. So I think it helps.
Do you think that I mean, you think that it do helps in other subjects also?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, GS is obvious, right? So I was trying to know that whether other subjects also it helped you or not, because GS paper 2 is obvious, obviously, this is something.
It is paper 1 only. Some manifestation.
So that is why I was asking. Chali, so let us wind it up. I will not take more of your time, and next time, right? I want to take your interview again. Okay.
Yes,
that
sir.
too, the thing that we talked last night. Okay. That too with a very, very good thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank
And
you,
best of
sir.
luck. Okay.
Thank you.